I'm going to give you 3 steps to help you smooth out all that seasonal revenue. And I'm going to do things a little bit different this time. I'm going to show on this and I'm going to draw everything out for you. So it's a little easier to understand and you don't have to watch this the whole time. So 3 steps plus a bonus tip to make it even easier to implement these in your business. Let's jump in. All right, so I don't have a super fancy setup here, but we're just going to go with it. What are the 3 steps you need to take in order to smooth out all that seasonal revenue? Step 1 is you need to know your monthly nut. What is your monthly nut? What does that even mean? Your monthly nut is just the amount of money you need to have set aside or spend each month in order to run your business. Like basically what keeps the lights on, how much, if we were going to set money aside to cover those slow months, do we need to be setting aside? So this is going to be broken into 3 different categories. First, you have your regular monthly expenses. So this would be things like software subscriptions, professional fees, those things that come through every single month with or without you doing anything. They're usually on auto draft. Second would be your regular annual expenses. And so these would be like same thing, the software costs or things that get billed annually. Maybe tax prep fees get billed annually, but all those things that you have to do, you don't have too much discretion over, but they bill on an annual basis instead of a monthly basis. And then the third thing would be maybe irregular or non-regular annual costs. So I'm going to say annual, that's not how you spell that, annual costs. And let's say discretionary. So these would be things like you go to AuthorNation every year and there's going to be travel cost involved. Or you buy inventory and it's not necessarily on a monthly basis. And so this may be not annual. Maybe it's every few months. Maybe it's every quarter. So you need to be able to capture those too. So where do you get the information to get these? Your regular expenses, this one's easy. Just look at your bank statements or your online banking. You're going to see those things coming out every single month. So just pull like the last 2 or 3 months of bank statements, let's say 2 to 3 months, and just start making a list of the things that you see recurring each time. Your regular annual expenses, this is a little bit more difficult because we're going to have to widen our scope, but it's still going to come from your bank statements. But we're going to look at maybe the last 12, maybe even 13 months if available, just because you're going to have things that bill on an annual basis. You're going to have to catch those. And you know that there's some subscriptions somewhere in there that you signed up for and you forgot that the free trial expired and you're still paying for it on an annual basis, or you meant to cancel it or whatever. So we're going to hopefully catch those. The hardest one to figure out is this one, the annual or the irregular discretionary costs, because this isn't necessarily something that you can look back to and time with any kind of accuracy. So for this, you kind of have to look forward and do a little bit of fortune telling here. Figure out how much inventory you typically purchase every year. So look at your inventory costs annually and then divide that by 12. Look at your conference fees, your conference costs, your travel costs, which you typically do, and divide that by 12 or spread that out over 12 months. But think forward instead of backwards on this. Think about the amount of inventory you're going to need to support your current level of sales. Think about the conferences you want to go to this year. And if this part gets too difficult, don't stress about it. If all we do is this, then that's going to be a huge help anyway, and we can just figure this part out when it gets there. All right, so you have your monthly nut. Then what's step 2? Step 2 is to start building up cash. Build up cash. That sounds easy. It sounds straightforward, but it may be more complicated in practice than we think. So how do we actually do this? Now, y'all know that we do the Profit First system here. If you're not familiar with Profit First, then go check out the videos on that. I'll link them in here. But with the Profit First system, we're going to be allocating cash into separate buckets. So, with Profit First, we're going to have money going to your income account first. And then from there, I should have done that differently. We're going to have things going to our profit account, a tax account, an owner's pay account, and over here, an OpEx account. This is the one we're focused on. We're going to let these do their own thing. So the first step to build up cash is just do your normal allocations. Normal allocations. You know how hard it is to write and talk at the same time whenever you're not writing what you're saying? Can't even talk. So do your normal allocations into those buckets like you normally would. Over the course of the month, track the cumulative amount that you've put into OpEx. So this is the issue, and this is where a lot of people stop trying to set money aside. is you're going to get money all throughout the month, and you're going to have money coming out all throughout the month. So it's not like at some point in time, you're going to have built up your OpEx account to what you need, and then the money comes out. Like a little bit of money comes in, then a little bit comes out, a little comes in, a little comes out. So it's going to feel like you're never quite building it up to where it needs to be. So what you have to do instead is you have to track those allocations, you get it? Track the allocations over the course of the month, regardless of how much you've spent. So if you transferred over, $100 to OpEx, track that somewhere, put it in a spreadsheet. Then even if you spend some of that $100, if then you go put $500 in OpEx, track that too. So now you've put a total of $600 into OpEx. So track those things so that you know how much cumulatively you've put into OpEx over the course of the month. Then if within the month, the amount that you have put cumulatively into OpEx exceeds your monthly nut amount, right? If it exceeds that monthly nut amount, transfer that to a new bank account. So let's just say this, transfer excess. So whenever you have put more than you need for your monthly nut into OpEx, regardless of how much you've taken out, we're only looking at the deposits, then you're going to transfer anything after that point into a new bank account called buffer. So over here, you have money coming from income into profit, into tax, into owner's pay, and into OpEx. When this gets up to the level you need, all this excess is going to go into a new account that we're going to call buffer. You can call it your drip account. You can call it your rainy day fund. You can call it your valley account because you're filling in the valleys. Whatever you want to call it that makes sense for you, put in the buffer account. So that's step 2. We have calculated a monthly nut. We have built up cash. We've put it in a separate bank account so that we don't accidentally spend it. And then we're going to, that's not a P, then we're going to pull out that buffer account for slow months. Pull for slow months. So whenever you're doing this, you got to be careful because a slow month isn't necessarily just because you have, let's just say slow months, just because you've had more expenses. So what you're going to do is whenever you need more money in your OpEx account because you didn't bring enough in that month, then all you're just going to do is transfer back into your OpEx account directly from your buffer account. Don't transfer it into the income account or the profit account or anything like that. You've already made those allocations. Those accounts have already been built up. You're just going to transfer directly into OpEx. But this part is really important. This is like the most important step. Pay attention. Figure out why this is happening. Like, is it because sales were slower this month? All right. Did you expect that to happen, or was that not what you expected? If you didn't expect sales to go down that month, then go investigate why. Is your website working or your ads working? Is something broken? And that's when you start looking at those KPIs like your average order value and your conversion rates and all those things. Or your sales fine, you just had extra expenses that you didn't expect. If that's the case, go investigate why. Maybe you chose to spend money that you weren't planning on spending, or maybe something drafted you from your account that you didn't expect. So the whole point of this and the whole point of the Profit First system is to help you pay attention to your business, because whenever all of the money that we make goes directly into one bank account, then we're hiding the problems underneath what we should be setting aside for profit, what we should have for taxes, and what we should have for OpEx. I'm just realizing the shadowing on this. Hopefully that's not too distracting. So we don't want to hide the problems underneath that. So whenever we separate those things out into separate accounts, it helps us have clarity about how much money we actually have and see the problem so that we can address those before it's too late. All right, so that's really the 3 ways to do this. You just have to take it one step at a time, calculate your monthly nut, build up cash, and then pull from that buffer account for slow months, and then pay attention whenever that happens. Now, I told you that there would be a bonus tip. So what's the bonus tip? Where's the blank page? Here we go. Bonus. If you find that you're having trouble having enough revenue to cover all the things and the slow months, and that normally what you do is you get this money in, You try and spin in what you can. If you run out of money, you panic, you cry, you go into debt, whatever it is. You can figure out a way to increase your monthly revenue so that it decreases how much you need to be setting aside from those big months. So if you can make it to where your monthly revenue covers your monthly expenses and all the annual stuff you're setting money aside for, then this doesn't become an issue anymore. So start thinking of creative ways to increase your monthly revenue without increasing your costs. Could you do something like a Patreon or whatever that you can start having short stories go out? Can you start monetizing a YouTube channel or do anything like that? Or are there other ideas that you can do to bring in revenue? And the best source to get these ideas is from other authors. So the thing that we're seeing is that there are unlimited number of ways to grow an author business. There's unlimited paths you can take, and that can get really stressful because then it's like, if there's unlimited choices, there's almost too many choices. Like, how do you know what the right choice is? Find a group of authors, find a community or a group of people that you trust, and just find out what they're doing and see what sticks. If you find somebody's doing a Patreon, ask them how they're doing it. If you find somebody's having success with YouTube or selling courses or selling templates or whatever, find out what they're doing. If you don't have that group of authors, we do have an author community that we created for specifically this reason, to help authors grow their business and find out from each other how they're growing their businesses. So in that community, we're doing profit first implementations, we're doing Q&As, we're giving away templates and resources and courses. So if you want in on that, make sure you click the link in the description. Currently, the price for that is the lowest it's ever going to be. And if you sign up at that price, that's the price you get forever. So make sure you get in there. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was actually beneficial and not distracting. And I hope I don't have to redo it because of all the lighting on this. But let me know in the comments if you liked this or if you prefer just the talking head approach to things. If you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you next time.